Good evening, afternoon, morning, whenever you're having to watch, good day to you. So today's class, we're going to be talking about something called journaling. Oh, Doc, I hate journaling. Journaling's no fun. Journaling just is a pain. It's not easy. I get all of that. You know what? And I don't like journaling traditionally either. However, it's really cool. I have certain guidelines that help journaling. And journaling really helps us to get things out, to kind of change our mental mindset. And it helps us to build something that's called a GAS card. And GAS stands for our gratitudes, our actions, and our service. And once again, you see me kind of looking at two different areas here. So I might be talking to this person, I might be talking to that person. Well, it's just because I have two different cameras going. One for Facebook Live, which I happen to be live right now on Facebook. And the other one is for YouTube, which will be recorded and uploaded there for those of us that don't really do Facebook, and that's okay. So tonight we're going to be talking about, or today, we're going to be talking about the wonderful world of journaling and how to do this so that it's not a task, but it's something we actually start to enjoy. So we can journal traditionally by getting out a big binder and writing our most intimate thoughts and, working through traditional issues by writing our journaling thoughts down. And yes, that works. And if you're good at that, please, please, please continue to do that. If you're not, this is kind of an introductory to that type of thing. So I have, and you'll see here on here, I don't know if it comes up. Oh yeah, it's backwards. Wonderful. So it comes up and it's My Family Journaling Guide for Success. Now, there's typically, you could do this in a 3-minute time frame, a 5-minute time frame, or any time frame above that. So what we do is we talk about journaling just certain topics in the beginning. So we start with 3 topics, and those topics are your gratitudes, things that you're grateful or thankful for, your dreams. If I were to wipe away all debt, give you an unlimited Amex that you can go and just blow money with, and you have an unlimited time frame to do it, what would you do? Right? Those are your dreams. I think you win the lottery and, what would you do? Right? Then we have our joys. This is what brings you joy. This might not be things that are happy, right? Things that you're grateful or thankful for. Happiness and joy are two different things. Happiness comes to you, joy comes from within you. So, yes, things can make you happy and cause joy, but joy is what you present. So think about this, what makes me happy? Well, being debt-free would make me happy. Going fly fishing makes me happy, but joy is seeing my nieces, right, and nephew, and spending time with them and watching them grow to be these amazing, amazing human beings. That really just lights me up from inside out, right? So that's joy. So what are those things that bring you joy? So that could be your 3 minutes, right? And how is that 3 minutes? Well, you set a timer and you grab a piece of paper or a journal book, right? But grab something. Typically, pen and paper is the best. As one of my coaches says, it's best to have it on papyrus. Now, I don't think you have to go out and buy papyrus, but paper works just as good. So get yourself a good old-fashioned clickety-click pen and a piece of paper, and you write with a timer for 1 minute on your gratitudes. What things are you thankful for? On your dreams, wipe away money, what would you hope for? On your joys, what brings you and uplifts you from within? And then if you want to go on to the next 2 minutes, then those would be your actions. What do you need to do to better yourself? That's a hard one, right? So maybe you're religious. So this might be that you want to read scripture, or maybe in the beginning you have down there that one of the actions that you need to do is journaling or writing your GAS card, or Maybe you know that you've got a relative who's not doing too well. You need to reach out and talk to them. I suck at remembering to reach out and talk to family members. I just do. I get so sidetracked. So this is something I need to write down. So you do that. Your actions are only things that you need to do to better yourself. Now, soup is the last one, or service could be the last one. And that is, what are you doing to set others up to prosper? Hence soup, right? What are you doing to help others in your community? Here's the kicker with this one. These are things that you're doing that you do not expect a thank you. So these are secret selfless service, right? It's not, I'm going to go ahead and, there's something I could do to get a thank you for. No, this is something like maybe you went to the restaurant, and we have a little diner here in Traverse City that I go to once in a while called Randy's, and there's a lot of veterans that go there. And so maybe I happen to go there and I see a vet sitting alone and has breakfast. Well, I tell the server, I said, hey, you know what? His breakfast I want to pay for tonight. And I'm almost done with my meal. He just has his coffee. So whatever he gets, it's on me. Once he orders it, let me know. I'll pay for it, and then I'm going to bounce before he even knows. Right? And so I'm gone before he or she ever realizes what I've done. So there's no way on God's green earth he could ever thank me. Right? So that's a big thing. It might be something like, maybe you see somebody struggling, with crossing a street. You help them cross a street. They're probably going to thank you, but you're not doing it for that reason. You're doing it because it's the right thing to do. It might be, God, I don't know how many times I've seen this, where somebody drops, their groceries and you run over and help them, right? Or I try to do this if I see trash or litter in the street. I reach down, pick it up, throw it away, right? Nobody's going to thank me for doing that. That's not why I'm doing it. I'm doing it to make sure that others have success, right? So that somebody coming through doesn't trip on the trash. Somebody coming through doesn't get it stuck to their blouse or to their pants, and they're going in for an interview, and oh my gosh, now you get where that can go. So that's a big thing. So those are the 5 topics, right? Well, you write 1 minute per topic. Maybe you get so good at this that you want to increase it. Great, go for it. But it should never be, I have to. And you should never, ever, ever feel ashamed or downtrodden because you missed a day. Okay, you missed a day. Let's get back to it, right? It should never, ever be something that is held over your head because it's something you have to do. It's something that you should be able to do to better yourself, right? So the next thing I want to talk about for the next few minutes here are the 10 steps or the rules for journaling. Now, a lot of us have learned that if you want to journal, you just write from what's called stream of thought or stream of consciousness. Boy, it's easy for me to say. Stream of consciousness writing, which means you just start writing, right? And what comes out a lot of times is very negative, and that's supposed to be cathartic. It can be, but it's not helpful, right? Sometimes it can be cathartic. And if you want to write all the negative and you tear that out and you want to burn that, so you burn the negativity away, great. Just do it safely, okay? Just if you're going to plan on doing that, make sure that when you do that, you're outside, you have a water source nearby, you get the whole point, right? Do it the right way. But if you want to write to be changing your mindset from woe is me to I have a pretty darn good life, right? You're going to use these 10 steps. First step is you write from your feelings. You don't write from your observations as much as you write from your heart, okay? So you write from your feelings and you stay away from writing about others' behaviors. So if you're cut off in a car, right? Instead of saying this jagoff cut me off or whatever you want to say, right? Instead of saying that, you can say, I felt uneasy when a car cut me off. Okay? Or I felt angry when a car cut me off. or I felt this, or I felt that, right? It upset me. It made me, get very angry, and it was hard for me to calm down afterwards. It raised my blood pressure. It gave me anxiety. Whatever the case is, that's your feeling, your perception of that. Not what happened is important, but how you responded or reacted, more likely, is the important thing. The other thing is you want to keep it simple, right? You don't want to write, well, my blood pressure went to 190 over 86 in a matter of 4.3 milliseconds because of the, whatever, and I had to 4.21 gigawatts amount of energy to, no. I could tell my blood pressure was raised because I started to get a headache. I started to feel loopy. It's not a good thing. I knew I needed to calm myself down. Great. That's simple, right? So keep it simple. You also want to keep your overall journaling simple. So that's where we start out at 3 or 5 minutes. Maybe go 10 minutes, go to complete your thoughts. That's fine. But never feel bad if you only write for 2 or 3 minutes. Okay? It's the fact that you're doing it. That's huge. Spelling doesn't count. Okay, this is all under keep it simple. Spelling does not count. If you write D-A-W-G or you write D-O-G and you know that that means dog, it does not matter. Because guess what? You're the only one reading this. So it doesn't matter. Spelling doesn't count. Grammar doesn't count. Whether you use the Oxford comma or you don't, does not matter. Team Oxford here. But doesn't matter. Okay? And those that may not know what an Oxford comma is, go ahead and look it up. I'm not going to discuss it. But if you come in and tell me that you figured out what an Oxford comma, that's a good point for this particular, for this class. So that's good. No one, and I've already said this, no one is allowed to read this. Now, you may want to share a passage or share something out of it. Fine. You share that with the people that you are closest to in a very, very trustworthy sense and manner. That's perfectly fine, but nobody is allowed to actually grab your book and read it at their leisure. That is not what this is for. This is your private thoughts. Okay? So, like I said, your primary, your spouse, your primary relationship partner, whoever that may be, should be able to be open to connecting with you to what you are willing to share and nothing more. Only what you are willing to share. So I know I've said that a few times, but that's how important this is. This needs to be someplace or something that is safe and that is protected by you, for you, and only you. If you want to share a passage, you want to share something that you wrote, fine, but that's it. It's not, oh, here, I want you to read this, and they start thumbing through. No. I want you to read this, okay? And maybe that means that you just take a snapshot of it and send it to them, right? Who knows? There's lots of different things that you can do with that. So this is our fourth rule, and this is the rule of 10. And I know that's weird. It's our fourth rule, but it's the rule of 10. Well, what this means is for every negative thing that you write, every problem, you have to come up with 10 ways that you could have changed it. Not 10 ways that it could have changed. 10 ways that you could effect change on this. So, rule 5 is interesting. A lot of people have a hard time with this, myself included. That is to write your own eulogy. This is a very hard one. So what is your eulogy? What do you want said at your funeral? Okay. Every once in a while, take time in here, and this might be what you want to share with your spouse or your friends or whoever. Take time to write letters to people that you might never get to send to them. Now, this could be that you're going to write a letter to Abraham Lincoln. Well, there's no way that he'd ever read it, but it'd be kind of cool to write something, to thank him for his service as president or ask him questions. This might be a letter to God. This might be a letter to a loved one that's passed. This might be a letter to a Nobel Prize laureate Who knows? But take a moment to write a letter. And one of my coaches does something that's really, really cool. He takes a book with him every time he travels. And I'm going to try to start this routine. My goddaughter's just turned 16. And I want to pass on things to her. No, I don't think I'm going to die or anything like that. But I don't get a lot of time with her. And so I think I'm going to start, when I go on these trips, when I go to Philly or Jersey or Utah or wherever, while I'm in the plane, while I have downtime at the hotel, I'm going to write a letter to her, right? And just share how proud I am of her, what I hope she learns, what I hope her future holds for her, etc. Okay? So every once in a while, I'll take time to write those letters. Rule 7 is to keep your book to yourself and in a safe place. Yes, that goes back to Rule 3, but that's how important it is. There's several rules on making sure this stays yours, okay? Rule 8 is journal as best you can and as much as you can. So I would love to see everybody journaling daily for 3 to 4 minutes, maybe 5 minutes, maybe up to 10 or 15. But start at 3. Okay, start at 3 minutes, write 1 minute on gratitude, 1 minute on dreams, and 1 minute on your joys. It's that simple, okay? But at least try to do at least 4 days a week. And again, if you miss a day, this is rule 9, never beat yourself up for missing that time. Just strive to do better. Just try to do it again, okay? And here's something, this is rule 10, this is the last rule of this. Perfection is the enemy of success. If somebody always does something perfectly, they never really truly succeed. We learn through failure. And to fail isn't a bad thing. Fail stands for something. F-A-I-L. First attempt in learning. Further attempt in learning. Or, when you succeed, your final attempt in learning that thing, right? So don't be afraid to fail. Failing is just learning. Don't seek out failure, right? But if you fail, learn from it, move on, conquer it. That's going to be a huge key to you guys. So I hope this has helped. And when we write a gas card, I'm going to do this really quick. We use like a 3x5 index card. We cut it into thirds. You have G, A, S in those thirds. The first one is gratitudes. Write things that bring you joy, bring you happiness, that you're grateful for, that you're thankful for. Write as many of those as you want. In the actions, you write 2 actions. If you're going for a lot, you write 3. Okay? And those actions are things that you're doing to better yourself that you can check off as you get them done. Now, those might be the same thing for every day, but they might change as well. Same with gratitudes, right? The last thing is service. And again, that's just like we talked about, the soup, right? So it's service. What are you going to do to help somebody in your community without the expectation of thank you? That changes about once a week, okay? So your gratitudes can change daily. They can stay the same. Your actions can change daily. They can stay the same, but they get accomplished. And if they get accomplished, or when they get accomplished, then you check them off. And the S is your secret service. I fold it so that I'm looking at my gratitudes. So when I start having a rough time, I can pull that out and I can look at my gratitudes and know what I'm thankful for. So I hope this has helped. I hope you guys have learned something from it. And I look forward to seeing you all for your appointments later this week and early next week. And as always, thank you. And I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye-bye.